In math lesson 313, we're going to start with fraction of problems. This is a two-part lesson. We will need whiteboards, whiteboard markers, and of course that math journal. Let's start with a quick warm-up on your whiteboard. I would like you to number 1 and 2 and 3. I would like you to solve and write the answer for each of these problems. So just remember, this is an example. Remember, it's just 3 times 1, which is 3. This tells me it really means 10 times 10 times 10. 10 to the third power just means there's 3 zeros behind it. Go ahead and write the answer to number 2 and 3. Pause your video so that you can write down the answer. Number 2, 5 times 1 is 5 with 2 zeros behind it. Number 3, 4 times 1 is 4 with 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember to put in your commas. It makes it easier to read. All right, go ahead and write down your answers for numbers 1 through 3. Number 1 is 65 times 1 is 65 with 4 zeros behind it. 650,000. 39 times 1 is 39 with 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3,900,000. And 72 times 1 is 72 with 6 zeros. Remember, 10 to the 6th power means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And just remember, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. And then you just put the zeros behind it. All right, one last set of warm-up problems. Ella has 22 baby carrots, and her brother Jackson has 36 baby carrots. Ella eats half of her carrots, and Jackson eats 1/3 of his. Who ate more carrots? Well, if you think of Ella, she ate half of her 22. What's half of 22? Well, half of 20 is 10, and half of 2 is 1. 11. And what is 1/3 of 36? In other words, how many 3s are there in 36? Or 3 times what would give me 36? And the answer would be 12. So who ate more? Jackson ate more. All right, let's go ahead and look in your math journal for today. You are going to go ahead and turn to page 105. With a partner or a small group, you're going to be working in a very small group yourself. You can use counters, drawings, or number lines to help you. Be prepared to explain how you solve the problem. So 56 beads on a necklace. 1/4 of the beads are blue. How many beads are blue? Well, I'm going to start. If I know that they have to be in 4 equal groups, I'm just going to create 4 equal lines and wait till I get to 56. Count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do this with me. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56. Here's 1/4. Here's 2/4. Here's 3/4. And here's the whole group of 56. So if I'm looking at 1/4 of them, how many beads are in 1/4? Well, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 beads. Let me show you just another way to do that. If I took 56 beads divided into 4 equal groups, watch what I can do. There are at least 10 in each group. And then 4 times 4 is 16. 14. All right, let's try number 2. Jenna has 45 yards of yarn. She used 1/5 of it for a knitting project. How much yarn did she use? Go ahead, let's draw a number line. Let's put our starting with 0 and ending with the 45. And we know it has to be in 5 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my fifths. Okay. So how much would 1/5 of that be? Well, what would 45 divide into 5 equal groups? How many 5s are there in 45? Think of it that way. There'd be 9. So from here to here is 1/5 of 45. And the answer would be 9. So if this were 9, 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. 27 plus 9 is 36. And then 45. Number 3, Morris has a rectangular garden with an area of 60 square feet. 1/10 of the garden is planted with bean plants. How many square feet are planted with bean plants? So what we're trying to do is figure out what is 1/10 of 60. I'll give you a little clue that of means to multiply. So 10 times what would give you 60? If I were going to draw a picture representation of it, I would show the 60 square feet, and I would divide it into tenths. What would 1/10 be? Well, 10 times 6 would be 60, so each of these represents 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60. If I added those all up. So 1/10 of it would be 6 square feet. And try this at the bottom of your page. Let's go ahead and draw a picture. The length of my living room is 24 feet. So let's draw the living room. 24 feet. Go ahead and draw this in. Remember, whatever I do in my whiteboard, the video, you are doing in your math journal. The width of my living room is half of the length. So what we're doing is figuring out what is half of 24. Well, remember, of means to multiply, so 2 times what would give me 24? Well, 12, and half of 24 is 12. 24 divided by 2, which is half. So this would be 12 feet. So now the area is length times width, 24 times 12. Would you please figure out what 24 times 12 is right now in your math journal? Pause the video and solve this 2-digit times 2-digit multiplication problem. Remember to be honest and do what's expected. So this should be solved already. So 2 has to be multiplied by each of the numbers above the 4 and the 2. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm going to put in my happy 0 because I'm starting to multiply in the tens place. 1 times 4 is 4. Now 1 times 2 is 2. You add those up and you get 288 square feet. So if I were covering it with new carpet or wood floor, I would have to know what the area is. All right, for this next section, you're going to move to page 106. And I would like you to have a calculator. We're just going to move this part along a little more quickly. It says a mathematical model of each real world object as given below. For each object, use the mathematical model to estimate its volume. Be sure to include a unit when you write the volume. Then write one or more number sentences to show how you found the volume. So for the sake of time, we are just going to actually find the volume. So remember, volume is length times width times height. So this is where I want you to use your calculator. So the volume, you have a line down here, mine cut off. So we take length times width times height. Please write 5 times 4 times 10. Well, I think we can do this one in our head. 5 times 4 is what? 20. 20 times 10 is 200. The volume is 200 centimeters cubed. We're taking 3 numbers times each other. All right, this gift box. Length times width times height, 12 times 12 times 13. Here is where I'm going to allow you to use your calculator, because today we're not focusing so much on multiplication as we are just reviewing how to figure out volume. So on your calculator, take 12 times 12 times 13. And what do you get? 1,872. So the volume is 1,872 inches cubed. Continuing down the page, here we have, I don't know, what is that? Noodles? We're going to take length times width times height. 12 times 3 times 1. We can do this in our head because we should know our multiplication facts through 12. 12 times 3 is 36. And then 36 times 1 is 36. So the volume of this box is 36 inches cubed. This flashlight, now it's a little bit harder, so they make it into more of a rectangular box rather than circular. So we have 2 volumes that we need to find. Let's take the first part, which would be the handle of it. Length times width times height, 5 times 5 times 14. And then our second one is 6 times 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 times 6. Let's go ahead and solve for the first, what would be the handle of the flashlight. So on your calculator, take 5 times 5 times 14. And what do you get? You should get 350. And now let's take 6 times 6 times 6. And you should have 216. And then let's just go ahead and add those 2 numbers together. We get an approximate volume of 566 centimeters cubed. All right, this toy airplane I'm going to think of as 3 separate boxes. So I have this long one right here. I have this one, and I have this one. So I'm going to go ahead and erase it though and take one at a time. So the first one I'm going to start with is this long one here. Okay, so I have to combine this from here to here is 4. This would be the same length as that, so that's 2 plus 2 here. So I have to add together 4 and 2 is 8. So this entire length is 8. So 8 times 2, and then the height is 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. 16 doubled, or 16 times 2 is 32. So let me erase that so it doesn't get in the way. The next one is 2 times 2 times 3, and this is this portion of it. So the next one would be 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So the only other part I have left now is this part over here. Okay, so this is 2. We know the height is the same all the way around, right? So 3 times 2 times 2. 3 times 2 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Now we're going to add up all those numbers. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 5. So the volume of that complex figure is 56 inches cubed. And lastly, the duck. We're going to treat it again as 2 separate volumes and then add them together. So the head part of it, that smaller one, would be 5 times 5 times 5. And 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Then the bottom portion, this part, would be 5 times 6 times 11. So on your calculator, please take 5 times 6 times 11, which is 330. Go ahead and add those two together. And you get 455 centimeters cubed.